Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Factorio C-Blog. This is episode number 32. So, the next major hurdle for our base is to provide the 8th of the main 8 sciences, the space science, which is going to go on this half of the belt right there. We're not too far from finishing researching that. Next up is rocket fuel, which will not take that long. And then after that, the rocket silo, which is going to take a little bit longer, 1,000 of all of those. And then we'll be able to start the space science. In order to make the space science, though, we need to kind of do some upgrades, which is what we're going to focus on today. So, for instance, the satellite, which you have to launch for the rocket to give you the space science, we need large solar panel Mark III and fast accumulator Mark III, so we need to upgrade to those. The radars we're making, the processing boards we're making. We also need to start making the rocket fuel, which is back here. And this is basically just a long chain of not as complicated as it quite looks chemistry names. Once you actually lay it out, it's not as bad as it looks, but it will take a lot of chemical plants and also air filters whenever we need nitrogen or oxygen. And so we're going to upgrade those to the Mark IVs or whatever the highest version of those is. Oh, by the way, I moved over our coal producers here, which is providing all these chemicals and this big not and gate, which burns off stuff that needs to get burned off, but only when it needs to get burned off. I moved all that over like I said I would earlier. Now we got an avenue to run down. Maybe we'll start to lay down some concrete bricks and concrete just to pretty up the place and give us a bonus to our speed. Right now we're using the lowly power armor Mark 1. It doesn't even get a Mark number because it's Mark 1. We've only got one pair of legs and all that stuff. And we may as well probably today upgrade to Roboport or Power Armor Mark 2, wherever that is. It's around here somewhere. We got a lot of stuff to upgrade too, but first thing we're going to upgrade, funnily enough, is our steam engines and our boilers. We are going to go to this where we get steam engine Mark 3 and boilers Mark 4. Where's my car? Where did I leave it? It's way over there. That's not very convenient. Okay, so that's only going to take like 10 seconds. We're going to be doing a lot of research today, so expect a lot of bump as soon as things finish. I'll try to edit them all in. It's hard to actually be recording for all of them. We're going to have 3 ranks of those, and then I think 4 ranks of boilers. We're just going to copy one of the things we did over here. There we go. There's that one already done. So that's Steam Engine Mark III. It provides a maximum power output of 3.9 megawatts, which this is not actually for power. I mean, it kind of is, but this is not an effective means of generating power. Even boiler Mark IVs, which is going to take tungsten plate, and we're going to have to start smelting up some tungsten plates. Even this is not it's not very effective. We're not doing it for the power necessarily. We're just doing it to make our base a little bit more efficient. We're going to need 4 of those and 3 of those. Okay. Do I have a blank one that's just totally blank somewhere that copied? No, I guess not. Okay, what I could do, I can copy this and then sort of edit it a little bit. So we want this. Yeah, I think this will work. Okay, so we want 3 of one and 4 of the other. And if I just go like that and shift-click it, and it's done. Oh, and we don't have that, right, we don't have that rank of assembly machine anymore, so we'll have to replace these. And our logistics network does not reach all the way over here. That's the nearest Roboport. We're just barely out of range. That's another thing we might upgrade today is our Roboports. I don't have any of my Roboporty stuff, but we can get to that in a bit. What we can do is put some lights down. That's out of the power range. Okay, whatever. I just want a little bit of light to work by. So these guys will be the... Oh, you know what? While we're doing that, let's start working on upgrading some stuff. I think the next thing we want is the chemical plants, which are going to be here. We're going to jump all the way to rank 4s, which have a crafting speed of 3.5. Will reduce the bulk of our rocket fuel area. Tungsten plate. We'll need to start smelting that too. Okay, get that going. Okay, boilers. Mark 1. Mark 2. Oh, you know, we might need an additional assembly machine there, I just noticed. For something I don't think we're making. Steam Engine Mark 2, Steam Engine Mark 3. Okay, so this guy needs stone furnaces. I don't think we're making those. So we will just If I still have that blueprint, actually. Add an extra level here. This guy will make... Oh, that's done. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of that today. Where was it? Stone furnace. Okay, so we'll tell that to make that. I need to go get some logistic dudes. But we'll just copy-paste the recipes and delete the one that's getting chained down. Like that. So the reason we are going back to steam engines and boilers is because we're creating a ferocious amount of excess coal, or not coal, but coke, up north, at the north end of our base. We don't need anything additional for that. Delete that. And so somebody suggested that we take that coke, and we just, we run it through some boilers and steam engines and get some power out of the deal, which I think that's a good idea. All right, sintering oven now for the tungsten. All right, well, I was going about the task of producing a lot of those tier 4 machines we want. Some of them require the tungsten plate, and when I was going about trying to produce it, I realized I made another error, or I found another error I made way back when I set up the main bus and I was trying to figure out what types of things we needed to accumulate in a concentrated area down below, and I missed a step for the tungsten plate production. So, we've been putting the tungsten powder on the belt, because the tungsten powder is used for multiple things. So we need it for science for copper tungsten plate and tungsten carbide plate. Don't need it for that steel process. I knew I needed it to make the tungsten plate itself, but I forgot this step here, where we also need cobalt powder. Because they both just look like powder, whatever, I forgot. I missed it or whatever. So instead of producing tungsten plate down in the base, we're gonna produce it back here. And we're gonna load it onto the bus. It's gonna share the belt with the silicon, which silicon plate, which I've upgraded to a red belt. We were getting less than half of a yellow belt for silicon plate anyway, so I just shoved it over to one side, and I think that'll be fine. The plate we don't need for science. We need it for, well, kind of. But we don't need it for most of the science. We'll need a little bit for the space science. I think for the accumulators. Let's just, actually, let's back up. I want tungsten plate. Is it needed for the it's needed for the pipes, which is needed for some of the stuff. Okay, advanced logistics, we're going to upgrade eventually straight up to robots 4. First, we need to do this one for the robot frame 4. The pipe is needed for a bunch of machines. And yeah, we'll need it for the nuclear stuff. We need it for these furnaces, all kinds of machines need that. Chemical plant Mark IV is something we will need it for. So anyway, we're going to start putting that on the bus right here with the newly researched tungsten powder mixture. We've got some, the different powders we need right there. They're going to get smelted here. I left room for Mark III beacons right there, which will hit all 4 of these machines. So here comes the tungsten plate arriving on the belt from the bus. And then it's also going to be making the tungsten pipe over to the right, which means our boilers Mark IV should be... Oh, there was another... Whoops. There was another science that went. I hit the T button too quickly. Okay, so we'll research something else right now, I guess. How about Logistics Robots 4? That sounds pretty good. All right, so we've got our boilers Mark IV and our steam engines Mark III. The boilers have an 80% efficiency, which is really good. The vanilla ones only have 50%. So they're going to be generating 8.1 times 0.8. And these guys have a maximum power output of 3.9. Basically, the math works out to be almost 3 of these guys to 5 of these guys. And we'll have to feed them the coke, and they will also need some water. And then that's going to get burnt up and turned into steam, and it's going to turn into a little bit of power. What I had been doing is I had put... Yeah, you can see we've got a lot of this coke. I have 4 of these guys set up here, so it just makes it less often I've got to come up here and blow them up. But now we're going to be burning it off, so I think we're going to try to have one of these guys be centrally located. And we will have an additional line of the coke heading up here. We've got a little bit of an asymmetry in our base. We've got some extra space here to the right, which should be a good spot to put our steam engines. Let's see how that lines up. I do have a little bit of a blueprint for it. Maybe we'll do it like that. We've got those guys in the way. Bump, bump, bump. Okay, what's next? Tool belt Mark the Third. So we get a extra quick bar slot. We've got 3 now. So, oh, look at that. That's weird. They separate. Cool. Okay, so what I've been doing, we have the steam engines and the boilers set up, and I've been consolidating all this stuff into one of these warehouses. I centered it. We've got the primary line, which heads over here and heads to the left side of our smelting, where we use the coke and the limestone as a byproduct for some of our smelting stuffs right here. It goes into some of the blast furnaces, like for iron, for instance. Then we have an additional line that goes to the left and to the right to create the carbon. Originally, we were only pulling the coke from here to create the carbon, but there was a problem. If we had enough sulfuric acid in the system, then these guys stopped producing, and we stopped getting coke right here because it all gets put into our giant warehouse buffer chest. And we stopped producing carbon, which was kind of a problem. We need the coke to make the carbon. So instead of getting it from there, well, we're still getting it from there, but we're also having a belt routed through our massive buffer chest right here, this warehouse. We're going to consolidate down to 1, and we are about to set these guys up. Drop, position, pick up position. All right, there's some coke. Drop and pick up, and these guys have a little red wire, and I didn't set this one up. Bump, and this one has to change now because I copy-pasted. Okay, so all it's saying is, does this giant warehouse, does it have more than 1,000 coke? If yes, then feel free to send some down here, and maybe we'll adjust that figure. All right, so the steam engine area is all set up. In fact, I added an entire other set and upgraded to blue belts just to make sure that we're always using way more coke than we can produce so that this thing stays empty. It was at 150-something thousand. It's down to 120,000. So that part of it is working. When it is fully up and running, I think it provides about 230 megawatts. Which is not very much when we're at peak pulling like 1.4 gigawatts, and that's going to start ballooning. But anyway, now we get to do something kind of fun. We get to upgrade from Power Armor to Power Armor Mark II, which is that's the vanilla suit, the last vanilla suit. And then after that, in a future episode at some point, we will upgrade to Power Armor Mark III, 4, and 5, but those take some advanced science, alien science, which we're not going to get to until after space science at some point. Here it comes, here it comes, here it comes. We've also got the Exoskeleton Mark III, which is twice as fast as the Mark Is. So let's go ahead and empty out our power armor here. We don't need those solar panels anymore, that's for sure. Now that we've got a 10 by 10 grid, it should fit, all the stuff should fit a little bit better because we've got an even number, and a lot of the modules have an even number that they divide into as well. Okay, so now we're going to have 4 of these Mamma Jammas. Ba-bam. That's super awesome. Let's see. Okay, so previously I had one of these, which consumed 200 kilowatts. These guys providing 1.5, 3 megawatts. We've got 3 megawatts of power. Okay, so I can definitely put 2 of those in there. Oh yes, we've already sped up quite a bit. Sooner or later, we will be we'll be expanding and updating these as well, and we'll go to the higher tiers. But for now, this should be pretty good. Actually, get that out of there. Can I just... No, I cannot click and drag. Okay, I think I had that many before. So if these guys are pulling 400, this will definitely help keep our stuff full. But we might actually just want to put some batteries in here and a 3rd set of legs. There we go. So this is 1.2. So this is, if these guys are, what, 2.25 megawatts minus 1.2, we've got 1.05 megawatts of power for our roboports. We'll just keep an eye on it. We might either upgrade our batteries, add more ones, or add another roboport. Now we're even faster. And I think it's probably about time we start adding some concreto, but not this kind of concrete. Oop. Oh, look at that. We're at the last tier of logistics trash slots. Trash slots. We're going to use the concrete bricks because they stack to a much higher number. Did I ever research the higher tier of brick here? Oh, I did. Yeah, we need these. So let's actually start creating those. This is already limited. This is required for some machines. And you guys require steel, huh? All right, I'm going to have to set up a chest for that, but one thing at a time. We've got the concrete, which we're going to put here in a lane. I just kind of want to run to the left because we've got to pick up some stuff over here, don't we? Oh, yeah, much faster. Oh, that helps a lot. Whoop, damn it. Screwed it up. Okay, I should have picked up a bunch of these. We'll just replace those. Then grab this again. No, it comes back up as these guys, okay? Yeah. So at a certain point, we will upgrade to the 5th belt type, and I think we are going to, before too much longer, we're going to be faster on our feet than we are in our car. And once we get space science, our inventory space is going to start expanding as well. So we won't really need the car anymore, and we'll set up a basically like a super fast highway using the high tier belts, the highest tier, so that we can run up along them. But for now, I guess we could use blue. Let's see how fast this is. That's reasonably fast. I'm about to run out. I think I just ran out. Okay, let's run back this way. Oh yeah. Okay, so that was the last one. All right, so the solar panel area has been basically doubled, and we're working on filling it out. This will be the end of the solar panels for us. After that, we're going to have to upgrade to nuclear power. While we're doing this, let's go ahead and start the next science. Here's our science stuff. Here's what we haven't done. The red stuff we also have not done. Here's all the stuff we have done. Green, 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 green. A lot of green stuff. Okay, so this guy, where did I see it? Right here. Rocket silo, 1,000 of each. Next episode, we're going to set that up. We will be doing rocket science. We'll be shooting off rockets. Can my roboport reach all the way from the edge? Not quite. I would need an extra roboport in my set, and I actually have one down on the base. I just didn't grab it. And these guys, they're going to have the same speed as before. They're just going to stay charged faster. Or they're going to charge back up faster. Because I've got more power via this. In fact, I did not bring my 4th fusion reactor. This would be a good time to swap out our setup. And once we get up to like tier 5, I don't think that's even going to be necessary. We can have like a bazillion legs and all of the roboports, anything we want. Oh, I also meant to make some night vision goggles to test those out. Maybe we'll do that next time. But next time we are going to start rocket science. We're going to get some upgrades from that. Our robots will get faster. We'll get some other upgrades. The episode after that, we will be making nuclear power. We're going to have to do a decent amount of research to get that. And then the episode after that, we're probably going to start upgrading all the things. We're going to upgrade to the fastest inserter type, the fastest belt type. We're going to go around and upgrade some of our stuff with those new machines and belts and everything, using Upgrade Planner, of course. And also adding modules. And then after that, we will, I guess, we're not that far. At that point, we'll pretty much be into the end game. We will be gearing up to start doing all this stuff. All of the SpaceX stuff, which is the very end game, where we start shooting up rocket parts into space, which is basically how you beat C-Block. All right, more robots. So how much are we up to? We're up to 24,000. I think we're probably going to be at 30-some thousand by the time we're done, which will help, but it won't be enough. So we'll use the nuclear science for that. Use the nuclear science for all of our needs for the long term. Okay, but I think that's going to do it for this episode. I'm going to continue laying down solar panels until this area is filled up. And then we'll continue doing stuff next episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave your comments below. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.